Well, good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful Friday morning, January 21st, 2022. Our topic today is an important one. We've recently talked about the importance of offering our white label partners the option to delegate the mentoring, to delegate the billing, and if necessary, to delegate the collection process for clients generated in the Access to Capital program. We introduced this concept a few days ago. We were fortunate to have a lot of great feedback from many of you. That feedback has been incorporated and we are now live. So I'm going to just spend a couple quick minutes to explain how this works. So on the left-hand side of the screen, we are on the iimfl.org white label page, a page that you should be very familiar with. It's where we sign up to become a white label partner. It's where the library of trainings are, but as relevant to today's topic, it is where the white label client submission form. As of today, there is a new section on it right here, and it's where you can determine, do you want the client that you're submitting at that time to be enrolled in our delegated mentoring? So it says, I wish to opt in for delegated mentoring for this client in exchange for a reduced 50-50 split of the normal white label partner compensation for the refundable deposit. There's no change on the performance fee. So I'll go through the dollars and cents. So when we were building this delegated model, part of the problem that we ran into is we didn't know how each of you are contracting with your clients. Are you making the deposit refundable or non-refundable? Are you making it $2,500, $3,500, $1,500? What's the performance fee going to be? Are you setting it at 10%, 15%, 12%, 8%? We didn't know. So we had to standardize it. So I'll go through that in a moment. But what you need to know is for each client that you opt in on the delegated mentoring, you will still make the full amount of the back end. You'll make the full amount of the back end, maybe even more. And then secondly, though, we are splitting the front end because we're allocating the labor, the time, the resources to do the mentoring, the billing, and if necessary, the collection. So it's as simple as clicking yes if you want delegated mentoring for the given client. So once you submit that to us, then the client comes in. And then what we're going to do is, and so we're on the right-hand side of the screen, we will send you an email, and that email is going to look just like this. It's going to be titled Delegated Mentoring Acknowledgement. It's going to come to you, so it won't say Dear Thomas, it'll say Dear your name, of course. And in the space here, it'll import in the name of the client that you submitted over here. And then it frankly explains what we're going to do, and that's what we're going to go through here in just a moment. So it explains, we're going to proceed with the following on your behalf because you enrolled that client in the delegated mentoring. We're going to help them get their first tranche of financing. Normally that's just within the first few days, no minimum credit, no minimum income to qualify. We're going to assign them a dedicated funding coordinator. And this is one of the elements that we found to be most successful. As soon as possible, get the client a dedicated point of contact. I think a lot of you are too busy to be that point of contact. Frankly, I wouldn't want the burden to be the point of contact because I might not always get back quick enough, but we will assign a funding coordinator and we'll continue to hire more internal funding coordinators to work with these clients. Number three, we're going to work with the client to build their financial literacy and loan package by going through the award-winning curriculum in the 4 modules. And then lastly, we're going to assist the client becoming fundable through the 3 C's to reach a minimum of $100,000 capital raise. If they have some issues with their credit, capacity, or collateral, we can assist them. We have those tools in our tool chest. So then we explain, okay, here's what's going to happen now. So again, this is the email to you, not the email to them after you submitted them. You submitted them here. You should already have them under contract, right? Because as a white label partner, you already have them under contract. You submit them. If you want the delegated mentoring, you click yes. Then you're getting this email confirming, yep, we've accepted and we're moving forward. So back to this email that you're going to receive each time. So if you submitted 5 clients, You get 5 of these emails. Of course, it'll be a different name for each person. Here's what happens now with the above named client. We'll send the client the funding proposal application via Adobe. You'll be copied on it. And so we want you to be real clear that what the subject line is. The subject line to the client will say signature requested on funding proposal -- guaranteed approvals. It's going to come from AMDC support. So it's going to the client that you told us that you want us to mentor. You will be copied on that Adobe. Number 2 is highlighted. It's in bold because it's crucial. If step 2 doesn't occur, then the delegation, the transfer to us, does not actually occur. The client's going to revert back to you. So we're going to send them that Adobe. It'll have daily reminders. You'll be copied on it, but they have to complete that. If they don't complete that, there's nothing we can do. We don't have them under terms. We don't have any information. We can't help them. We can't do anything. They're going to come back to you if you don't get them to sign that. So that's your final step in the handoff. So you really have 3 steps with each client that you're going to hand off, right? You're going to get them under agreement with you. That's not shown on the screen. Number 2, you're going to submit them on the white label client submission form that is on the screen. And then number 3, you're going to encourage them to complete the Adobe packet. So number 3, once they've completed that Adobe packet, we'll take care of everything for that client going forward. Now let's go through the dollars and cents, because here was part of the problem that kept us from implementing this a little quicker. We didn't know what your terms were, and it became very complicated and cumbersome. So what we decided is to standardize it. Any client that you're submitting in for delegation will have a refundable deposit. They're going to get that deposit back. It comes from the grant. It comes from our side. It doesn't come from your side. So you're not paying the deposit back. That's number 1. Number 2, the refundable deposit will always be $2,500. And thirdly, the performance fee will always be 10%. So if you came back and said, oh, no, that won't work for me, then don't delegate to us the mentoring, because we have to have standardization or we'll pull our hair out. We'll lose our wits if we have to implement an infinite number of different deals. It's too complicated. So the delegated mentoring will be specifically set on the $2,500 refundable deposit. The refund comes from the grant, doesn't come from you, doesn't offset your income. And secondly, it'll always be a 10% performance fee. So we'll take care of everything for that client going forward. You'll be paid $625. Well, why $625? Well, normally white label partners, we do a 50-50 split, right? Well, 50-50 of $2,500 refundable deposit is $1,250. And so that's what you normally would get. If you don't want to do the mentoring, the billing, the collections, then you can delegate it to us. And then that's what this is referencing, a 50-50 split of that $1,250. That leaves you a net of $625. If you don't like that, it's okay. Don't delegate or hire your own people to do mentoring, billing, collections. But we have to be able to offset it. Now, you're not paying anything up front. That's just out of their first tranche. And then also you're going to receive 5%. Well, why is it 5%? Because we're doing the normal 50-50 split with white label partners. So there's no reduction in the performance fee that you're receiving through the delegation. It's half of the 10%. Thus, you should anticipate receiving at least $5,625. 5% of 100,000 capital raise is 5,000, add 625. So you should be getting at least $5,625 for each compliant client submitted under the delegation program, the delegated mentoring. However, this could be more with a higher capital raise. We're working on a client that Renee submitted in, and this guy's we're working on a $7.5 million capital raise. We're pretty far along on that. It's going to be both debt, equity, some debt, the rest equity. And so we're not saying that you would only make $5,625, but that should be the minimum based upon the 625 and 5% of the 100,000. So here we got the little asterisk, and I've already mentioned it, but let's just go through it. So if the client does not complete the Adobe packet, which we send them and copy you on, we won't be able to accept the client transfer They'll be reverted back to you. The delegation will be terminated, and then you'll work with them normal. So there's 2 triggers for you to, and it's very simple. There's not much work at all for you to delegate someone to us. Click yes here, 1 button, and then just make sure that they complete the Adobe packet. When they complete the Adobe packet, it's going to have the 1-page funding app, and it's also going to have our terms and conditions that states $2,500 refundable deposit, 10% performance fee. It's going to set the jurisdiction for Wood County, Texas. Well, why would we want that? Because if we're managing that client and if the client doesn't comply, we need to be able to work through the systems that we already have set up. All right. And then right now, Madison is your primary point of contact. We'll be hiring additional funding coordinators to handle the volume, but right now, to keep it simple, so you'll get this email. It'll have an embedded name, which is the name that you submitted. And if you have questions, you'll reach out to Madison. Madison's full-time W-2 employee. She's here, the normal 40 hours a week. So you can phone or text her. We've provided her company cell phones. Feel free to call her or text her at your convenience. Here's her email. Here's her Calendly. So let's summarize. We are offering this new delegated mentoring program to our white label partners. It's purely optional. It is designed for those of you that want to go develop clients, but you don't want to do the mentoring, the billing, and or the collections. So some of you like doing the education and the mentoring. Great. Do it the way you're doing it. Fine. If it's not broken, don't fix it. But this is for those that want to delegate. It's a little less flexible. It's a little bit more rigid than we originally expected. But as we were trying to put together the policies and processes on our end, we couldn't accommodate an infinite number of different deals. So this is all you would do. Submit the client after you have them under contract. Click yes for that client. So you can submit 2 clients today. One, you could say yes, one say no. It's up to you. It's on a 1-by-1 basis. So that is different than we originally thought. We thought it'd be all or nothing. It's not all or nothing. It's not retroactive, right? It needs to be good new clients going forward. Now, if you want to game the system a little bit and take clients that you already have under contract and resubmit them here, I guess we could do that. But technically, we're not going back in time. So from today going forward, any white label client submissions here that have yes, then we will send you this email. We'll send them the Adobe. We'll copy you. Your job is completed once you have had them, encourage them once they've completed the Adobe. That completes the transfer to us. Now, we will proactively assign a funding coordinator to them and assign the funding coordinator even before they sign the Adobe. Again, we found that to be a best practice to get them someone that they can be talking to as soon as possible. And they may want to talk to someone further before they sign the Adobe. All right, so let's get to your questions and then we'll wrap it up. So Zahn asked a good question. Since they're going to sign our terms and conditions with this process, do they need to sign yours? Absolutely. Why? Because they may, the transfer may not be completed and they may go back to you. So you need to have them under agreement and then they can sign ours that will transfer them from you to us. But if you don't have them sign your terms and conditions over here, and they don't sign ours, they could go through a capital raise and then you're not going to be able to collect anything because you don't have an agreement with them. So it's not a perfect system, but I believe it'll work better than anything else that we can accommodate at this time. So yes, you'll want to have them under agreement. Zahn also asked, how long does it take to have the client complete the Adobe agreement? Normally within 1 business day of you submitting the clients, we'll send them the Adobe. You'll be copied. All they need to fill out is just 1 simple page. Gives us just a little bit of information about their business, just a little bit of information about themselves, so we can get them some funding offers. It does not commit them to accepting any of the funding offers, and there's no hard inquiries in the process. All right, so Pauline asks, what if they don't sign the Adobe form. Well, if they don't sign the Adobe form with us, then they've not been transferred, they've not been delegated, they just go back to you as your normal client, agreeing to your terms and conditions that you have with them, and you'll work with them going forward. It's just the delegate. If they don't sign our Adobe, they just don't transfer to us. Zon asked another good question. So once you've submitted the client here, and then we'll send you this email, and within moments, the Adobe will go out to them essentially at the same time, within a minute of you getting this email. And again, you'll be copied on it. There'll be daily reminders that you'll receive because you're copied on it, and they'll receive daily reminders. And then Zon asked, how long until they revert back? And I think the norm is probably going to be about 7 days. So after 7 days, they've received 7 reminders. They've been introduced to their funding coordinator in a separate email, by the way. They're not getting this email. You're getting this email. But after 7 days, it's not a transfer, right? Because they're not engaged. It comes back to you. And so there's no harm by them coming back to you. You're back where you started. You're not in a worse position. It's just we've not been able to take over the mentoring because they're not engaged. So they're back to you. All right. And then Jeremy says, I send enrolled clients the onboarding. Okay, I don't want to read this out because it'll confuse. But yeah, Jeremy's going to not use delegation and use his own system. All right, so just to wrap it up here. So effective today, we're ready to go. If you don't want to do the mentoring, the billing collections, that's fine. As you submit clients, there's a new section here. You can click yes if you want to delegate it. You'll receive this email. It'll have the client's name here. The Adobe will go to the client. You'll be copied. Once they complete that Adobe, the transfer, the delegation is complete. You're going to make $625 on the front end instead of the normal $1250. And then you're going to still make the normal 5% on the back end. I think you'll probably end up making more for 2 reasons. Number one, you're not going to have to do the refundable deposit that comes from our side, not your side. And then frankly, some of our white label partners have not been very good about working with clients. And we're seeing there's a lot of untapped potential. All right, last question, then we'll hang it up for this Friday. We try to keep it short on Fridays. So Ms. Wilson asked, if you resubmit a client here, do you need to go get a new client agreement with them? That's a good point. I would say not necessarily. So if you, but we're going to treat, I guess this is the important thing, Ms. Wilson, we're going to treat them as a brand new client. And so if you started working with them, we're going to ignore all that. We're starting fresh. What we can't do is put our staff in a position of trying to figure out where our white label partners are with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 250 different clients. So what you'll need to know and they'll need to know is we're starting from scratch on that client's capital raise. We don't want to hear that, they made it to step 2 or module 2. We don't care. We're starting our system from scratch. So as long as you're aware of that and they're aware of that, yes, you're correct. You could go back and resubmit clients that have signed up previously, as long as they know that they're going to be starting from scratch. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. We'll see you on Monday morning. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.